Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Cruz.
This is Bryce Vine.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This
East.
is Sebastian Younger.
This is Daryl Ames.
This is Stuart Copeland.
This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summers.
This is Dr. Bob Greenberg.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
Hi, this is Jeanette C Espinoza, author, speaker, and CEO of Jeanette's Jewels, and you're listening to The Break It Down Show.
And now, The Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero and Pete A. Turner.
Jeanette C Espinoza is indeed an author, a motivational speaker, and somebody whose mission in life is to help all others, along with herself, to reach for your highest self, the best version of you. And so we take inspiration from her, and we are honored that you would be on our show. We also should acknowledge that you are from our neck of the woods, Benicia, California. And, yeah, and that you now currently reside in Atlanta. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
It's terrific that you would join us, and we're glad to have you. And we're really interested in what you're doing to sort of spread the mission for everybody to be their best selves. Okay. Did I encapsulate that properly?
You absolutely. It was just beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with my legit homeboys from Benicia.
That's right. That's
Are we talking about that?
We're talking about the motherfucking bee. That's right. Uh-huh. But so let us say this for sure too. Hey, to the class of 1988, you should all be listening. This is your way to connect with Jeanette. Of course, there's other Benicia High people, but also other class of 88 folks, because Todd Nunes has also been on the show 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. This is a place where folks from Benicia can definitely learn about others. But also, hey, we talked. There's a guy named Koji in Japan that I met that's been listening to the show for a while. So, and I kind of hope I'm saying his name right, but. You know, so we're worldwide, so awesome. But we're also talking about the beat. I love it.
Huge. I love listening to the show, actually. Very honored to be a guest.
Thank you.
I did not go to Benicia High, nor did I graduate class of 88, but both my sons did and my wife did. My wife is KB and everybody knows her. So that's my cred in town. Oh. But you decided to skip town. Why did you leave our beautiful little part of the world?
You know what's hilarious is that Benicia is gorgeous. It is something that I did not appreciate until I grew up. I spent the whole entire part of my childhood trying to get out because we're bored. There's nothing to do here. We don't even have movie theaters, blah, blah, blah. That's true. I went to college in Los Angeles, and I was like, oh, the big city. But when I would go home and visit my parents, and particularly after I got married and had kids, I was like, it's so gorgeous here. Why did I ever want to leave? Oh. So, yeah. And now I can't afford to live there.
Right.
That happens. So tell us about the book.
Well, there's 3, but no one knows who I am yet.
Hold on, 3?
No, but they will. They will.
So that must mean that the mission game came before the book.
Well, the mission game is actually happening while the book is going on. Okay. So I can kind of be like a living, breathing, walking example of what happens. But the very first book is called Jeanette's Jewels, and it is 365 days of positive affirmations and messages and original quotes from me. So it's basically just like there's tons of books out there like that, but mine is special because I write my own quotes, own affirmations, and positive messages for each day. I took it from, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ayanna Van Zandt.
No.
She's huge. She's one of Oprah's, I guess I can call her protege. She has a show called Fix My Life where she's like, like hardcore mama, whipping people's lives into shape. But she wrote a book, like I was like 20 when it came out, and it was called Acts of Faith, and it was, 365 days of affirmations. And something, so I was like, God, I want to write that. I really want to do that. And of course, I had like negative people in my life at the time were like, how are you going to write 365 days of affirmations? How are you going to even think of 10? And I was like, I'm going to do it. So that had to be the first book, just so I could say it's possible I did it. And also to encourage people. So that was the first one.
I like this one. I am a magnet for money. It
Yeah.
flows effortlessly through me in my life from unexpected sources and unexpected ways.
Absolutely. You have to speak in the positive. You have to speak in the current
Because
to
I've been
manifest things
saying
into your
I'm
life.
a magnet
It
for
is
money,
crucial.
and it flows
And
right
right,
by me.
well, see, most people, when they talk about money, they talk about losing it. Like, I hear everybody saying, oh, I'm going to get my paycheck and it's already gone.
Uh
But
huh.
it's like you're putting that out there, so you're setting yourself up for lack, not abundance. You have to speak different, but it's a process to teach people to see money and think about money in a different way. Because most of us are thinking about it like as soon as it comes, it's gone. But that's
Yeah.
why, because you're in that mindset.
Yeah, you know when you have the magnet turned backwards, that's me. So when you say that, that speaking for abundance helps to materialize abundance,
Hmm.
give us an example of how the change in mindset,
Hmm.
hits the ground on a practical level.
Well, first of all, you have to set the intention, and you actually have to be at a place in your life where you're ready to receive it. Most people in the midst of madness and pain and struggle and lack are not really looking to say, oh gosh, I'm so rich. I have so much, because they're focused on the lack. So, first of all, you have to even elevate your spirit to a point where you can even receive that. And, it just depends on what your spiritual practices are. I mean, meditation helps if you're connected to, any kind of spiritual community in any kind of way, anywhere where you can go somewhere and hear a word that resonates with you, helps to elevate your spirit to get you into a mindset to be able to receive this. And then once you get to that mindset, that's when you start using the affirmations. That's why I made that the first book. It's so important to speak of everything in the present tense. And the more you do that, the more you start to believe it in your mind. And then that's when it manifests. But it's definitely a process. I have people in my life that I'm working with right now, and they're just like, Jeanette, it's so hard. It's so hard. But then I have people on the other end who are ready to receive it. And they're like, I'm manifesting stuff all over the place. Everything I'm planning, I'm getting, because they're at that point. But you have to be at that point yourself, and nobody can get you there. You have to be willing to go there on your
You are making my brain go a million miles an hour.
own.
And I'm thinking of my own affirmations, but I'm much more of a dick to myself because
Most
I'm
people
I'm saying things like, handle your business. If your business is somebody else's business, get some goddamn business. Like
are.
get out of other people's business. Look down. You got shoes on. You got a head up, a
Right.
roof above your head. You're
Mhm.
not starving, and
Mhm.
there's somebody who's definitely got it way worse than you. So get to work on where you're at, and you will be somewhere where you want to be.
Right. And that's the right mindset. I mean, that's it. It's just if somebody's trying to internalize that and manifest it for themselves, they have to say it different. Like they can't say, "Oh my God, I need to just get something done." They need to say what they want. Like I would say, I'm a best-selling author. I live abundantly. I travel around the world, just kind of talking like that as opposed to beating themselves up about what they're not doing. The focus is on where you want to be.
Baby steps, Pete. Start with I wear two of the same socks. And I'm going to start with I will do a sit up today.
Oh yeah.
And that's all it takes is just one action. And then it leads to another and another and another. It sounds trite, but it works.
I'm glad you say that because I am only half joking. And, when I make jokes like that, I find that I attack myself and Pete
Hmm.
with humor that is practical because, Pete and I have gotten to the point where we could jab at each other like that and then go, yeah, man, seriously, though, really, wear two socks that are the same, and I'm going to do a sit up. And then we look at it in a very, pragmatic way, and it allows us to address those issues. I'm not afraid to say that there is some degree of practical effectiveness to the fact that I shame myself in front of Pete for certain things because I know I want to beat him to the punch because he'll call me on it. It lessens the blow if I beat myself to the punch, and then I am shamed away from that extra slice of pizza or that yeah, make mine a double, or I'll hold back on something because I'll go, no, I am reacting to the shame and it's okay. So can I get to the manifestation of abundance from this place, because many of our listeners are in that place. And sometimes it comes out in the comments in the show where, we'll make fun of each other,
Right.
and our listeners are like-minded individuals. But I think we're all trying to elevate to the place where we can be ready for abundance. And I am really trying to feel like I relate. Now, you're speaking as if Pete's on the right track. I relate to those Pete-isms, so I'll take that too. But I don't know if I feel it. Do you feel it, Pete?
Yeah, I do. I don't feel it often enough, but yeah, I try to focus. It's easy to focus on the negative things. Here, I want to do Jeanette's job for her. It's easy to focus on the negative things. It's easy to lose track of joy and focus on anger and misery and all those things. And the only way to get to somewhere that you want to go is to make it hard. So, yeah, I feel like I force myself to have a positive outlook. Am I successful all the times at it? Of course not. Yeah, I think I'm prepared to receive good things because I'm working hard and I believe I'm in a good situation that's getting better.
You need to write that down and say it every single day. That was a perfect affirmation. I'm not even
Nice.
kidding you. Write it down, say it every day, put it somewhere where you can see it, and repeat it so that it becomes a part of you. It's like your personal mantra. That's where it starts. And I mean, we make things so hard. Everybody thinks it takes so much. You have to just, move mountains to feel this way to do this. It's not. It's as basic as what you just said and believing it. You have to believe it.
Yeah, I'm struck by, I've listened to a lot of Jordan Peterson's
Wait, before you
conversations
get off
recently.
into Jordan Peterson, I don't want to stop you because I make fun of you a lot. We make fun of each other. We have a good time with it. That was beautiful, Pete.
Oh,
I'm going
thanks.
to make that my daily affirmation because that might be the most poignant thing you've said all week.
Yeah. Well, it's I don't know. I mean, I didn't make it up. I mean, I did make it up on the spot, but it is sort of what I focus on. I try to gather joy. I try to help other people recognize the last time they had joy. When was the last time that you were just truly, completely joyful? And then you can ask them when was the last time that you just were, and they instantly know the moment, but they
Yeah,
struggle with the joy.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, we live in a society that thrives on, adversity and just, hatred and just all bad things. Like
Yeah.
even the news. Like I do not watch news. I
Amen,
literally have
sister.
to find out from other people what's going on, and they're talking about like, what car accident happened. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't watch it. I might tune into CNN just to see what's happening, but that's it. No news because it's just filling your brain with all this negativity, and it manifests in your life. So if
Yes.
everybody can identify with how easy it is to be negative or to, manifest that, the same way works with positive. And you would just be floored at me having to coax people into trying to feel happy. Like people literally fight me on this because it's too hard. It's too hard to feel good. Is it really?
Yeah.
Yes. Why? I don't know, because I'm just mad all the time. Okay, well, let's think about things that don't make you mad. Silence. But when we want to talk about
Yeah.
what's upsetting you, we can talk forever. So it's just
This is the
it's
Donald Trump paradox, because you have to pay attention because it's everywhere.
yeah.
And everybody makes money and gathers ears and eyes by discussing it.
Hmm.
But what would I rather do? I would rather hang out with the two of you on a patio somewhere and have a wonderful conversation and not be in that world. And it's just, I'm not saying that you ignore everything and unplug from everything, but invest some time in investing in your own relationships is going to pay off way more than the other.
I bet they
Absolutely.
got sweet tea a block from Jeanette's house too. Any direction you go up Jeanette's house, somebody's got sweet tea. Is that true, Jeanette?
Yeah.
And it's so scary. That's all they drink here. And I don't even like it. And people look at me like I'm from Mars. You don't drink sweet tea? No, I do not. I'm so sorry. I
Okay, that's it. This interview's over.
Hey Jeanette, I looked for to figure out where the South was for a long time. It was one of my favorite things to do for several years, and
can't.
sweet tea was the answer. If you go somewhere and say, I'll take an iced tea," and they give you sweet tea, you are surely in the South.
Oh, totally.
Or
100%.
you're in a southern restaurant in New York or whatever, but you are in
Yes,
the South. If
absolutely.
if they ask, you're like in the gray zone.
Yeah.
And if you just get iced tea, then
Yeah. Then
But
you're
yeah,
not
that's for
here.
sure. Because if you go to Miami and you order an iced tea, you get an iced tea. You're
Wow.
not in the South.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Totally
They're
different
serious
place.
about it. I don't
Hmm.
even know what they put in it. That's why I'm scared to drink it. But they're really serious about it.
Uh, I know how to make Kool-Aid, so I know what they put in it. But anyway, the other thing I want to say, Jeanette, is that you and I especially know each other. Like, we don't have a history with each other specifically, but
Right.
Facebook seems to think I ought to know you. Because I have friends that I grew up with and have known since I was 8 years old, and I never see them on Facebook, but I see you.
Ah.
Do you think there's something to that? I mean, we see each other, right?
Yeah, we see each other. Maybe because I'm connected to your beautiful wife and other people that you're
Guess
friends
what? 1,400 people are connected to my beautiful wife, and
with.
1,100 of them are connected to me, which makes me wonder what the 300 people are doing. But see, that's negativity kicking in. I mean, you and I have probably been in the same room together, but we don't know that for sure.
I know. I
But do
know.
you feel like we know each other? Because I do.
Well, yes, and I'll even go deeper than that is that we're really all connected. Period. Like everybody is connected. And
I'm trying to make this special.
okay,
You're
I'm
trying to make
sorry.
everybody
I'm
be
sorry.
involved. I'm trying. No,
Okay. Well,
no. But
you
the
and
reason that I am saying that is I wonder if your energy and your positivity and because I love people. Like, I'm not afraid to tell. I love Pete. I love the people in my life who mean something to me. I really try to express
I.
what they mean. And I really try to live in that mindset and be appreciative and have gratitude for the people I, get to have contact with who feed me positivity. For
Beautiful.
some reason, Facebook knows that you should be around me, or that I am dangerously near the edge of a cliff and you have the means to grab me by my collar. I'm not sure which, but why do you think that is?
Well, it's energy. If you guys understand, I know it's like in vogue for everybody to run around and say positive vibes, positive energy, whatever. But I'm not really sure if people understand that. We're all vibrational beings, meaning that we give off energy based on, who we are as a person, how we think, how we feel, how we project ourselves into the world. And so energy reaches people on all levels. So it could very well be that, because you're in that mindset of wanting to be positive and wanting to have people around you who will, bring that out of you, you're being drawn to me based on my energy and vice versa. So it's very possible. Energy is real. If you guys ever pay attention to how you feel after you have interactions with certain people, you can definitely feel energy. You may not know, you may not have known before or to really get a grip like, oh, why don't I like that person? It just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Or I love being around that person. Even just sitting next to them makes me feel good. It's because your energy is on the same plane and you're literally vibrating with each other. I mean, okay, that doesn't really sound right. But when you hear people say we vibe, that's what that means. Your energy is on the same plane, you're the same, wavelength, just like a radio frequency. And hey, you guys are radio guys. You know how radio frequencies work. You have to be tuned into the right dial to get to a specific station. And so let's say two people are both tuned into 94.9, they're completely vibing. So this is good for like couples and things like that. Couples that really bond together and blend together are definitely on the same vibrational frequency. And that's beautiful. Pete and I were talking about love earlier, and that's just the ultimate form of love when you are vibrating on the same frequency. It's beautiful.
A while back, John and I interviewed, and this happens quite frequently, and John and I have a vibe, but we'll know almost now instinctively because we've done so many of these when it's their show, whether or not we know it going in. And so we get to a lady's house named Allie Willis, and she is as fascinating, interesting, as kooky as you can be. So I'm in that zone, enjoying all of the eye candy that's around, the actual candy that's in my mouth. But John instantly gets Allie, and she gets him, and I'm just like, it's not, my job here is to shut up and eat candy and try not to fall asleep, because I'm not part of this conversation in a good way, because I don't have to be in their vibe. I'm just bringing in other things.
Exactly.
So understanding that your dissonance in someone else's vibe is not a bad thing.
Right.
It's just an alternate tuning, and I think John and I do this really well when we have shows like that. When there's just times where we're okay to be, not the second fiddle, but just it's okay for it to not be my show.
Totally. Absolutely. The two of you guys are a perfect example of vibrating on the same frequency. You really play off of each other like this. It's perfection. It's like the two of you guys just instinctively know, you know, how to react to the other person, what you should say, when you should say, how you can say it. Because of course I pay attention to these kind of things all the time. So even just the inflection of you guys' voices when you speak to each other, perfect. Very nice.
You know what it is? It's our two fat asses can't fit in one hallway. So we've started to understand instinctively, like, oh no, your fat ass should go first. Oh no, this
That's
time
true.
mine will go first. But aside from that, I want to, because I'm a data head, I want to go back to the Facebook issue because this is a thing that really I think about a lot.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know for sure how all the Facebook algorithms work, but I know that if we search the vibe out as you describe it in keywords, we're going to see similar keywords like love and gratitude. And these are themes that we express.
Hmm.
So if there is a common theme, like I was trying to think of somebody I'm not connected to, and I thought of someone that I've known since the fifth grade who we share a ton of mutual friends and all of the things that should be the recipe. What's missing is that that person does a lot of complaining online. And sometimes that complaining is entertaining, but I
Hmm.
don't think that I use the same vocabulary. And I think that if there's a practical way to wring out what you describe, it's that, like you say, there are affirmations. That affirmations thought starts to shape your vocabulary.
Right.
Is that true?
That's absolutely true.
And so it could be that I'm trying to seek out your vocabulary and you are putting out things that I am attracted to and click on and you hit the love button and all of that stuff because I do find that you and I find ourselves on threads that
Hmm.
that are the same. And when if Pete chimes in about something and he says something about how much he loves and appreciates somebody, we
Hmm.
find ourselves on that same uh, okay, let's face it, I'm on all of Pete's threads, um, but we find ourselves. I mean, that's why I think you are on somebody's Facebook feed all the time,
Yeah.
and I think that I had that revelation while you're doing that. But I wanted to get back to Pete's point from several minutes ago about Jordan Peterson because you were going to say something about Jordan Peterson, Pete.
Well, what I was going to say is here's a guy who, if you get through all of the rhetoric and you get through all of the noise around him, what is he trying to do? He's trying to do similar to what Jeanette's trying to do. He's like saying, look, if you suck at whatever it is, putting your kid to bed is one of his examples. And then you end up having a bad relationship with your kid because they fight you, you fight them, and it's fight versus fight. If you take even just a small approach and just have small wins, and he used the example of studying. So if you go to the library and you get distracted, don't go to the library. Just sit down and study for 15 minutes. Can you do 15 minutes? Yeah, that's easy. I could do that. All right, well then do that because over the course of a week, 15 times 7 is way more minutes than you're studying currently. So just finding ways to not not win the whole contest in one shot, right? Like you said this earlier, Jeanette, and I totally agree with this. And as I've reached middle age, I've understand that I don't have to put the bar at 8'2" to jump over it every day.
Right.
I can put the bar at 2 inches.
Yeah.
Hell, I can throw the bar out and say today's the day off. I'm not even gonna shoot for the moon every goddamn day.
Right.
It's okay. So people get so flustered because of his message, which is a very balanced message if you listen to the whole thing, but
Hmm.
they can't even hear the goodness in what he's talking about and just incremental improvements. If you don't feel well, change what you eat. Well, I can't change everything about what I eat. All right, just change one thing
Right.
and then build from that spot because it can be overwhelming and people get so overwhelmed by the overall message of Jordan Peterson that they miss the gold that's there, and it's there for anybody.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. It's everything is should be in small doses. At least that's when I speak to women. That's what I try to teach. Because if you look at a goal from, everything that you have to do, obviously it's going to seem insurmountable and you're thinking, I'm never going to be able to do that. It's literally one step at a time. I actually just spoke to one of the women that I counseled today that she's trying to write a book. And she's like, I don't understand how you write books. How are you doing that? It's just taking me, I'm so overwhelmed. And I told her, I said, you have to look at it one day at a time. I said, if you just wrote a page a day for
Yeah.
a year, you would have a whole book. Even if you just wrote like a couple of sentences, even if it's something that you throw out, in a year you have a book. And most people take 20 years to write books because they're doing so many other stuff. It's just about, keeping your mindset on what you want to do, looking
Yeah.
at it from a day by day perspective, and congratulating yourself when you do it. I mean, most people want to wait until the end before they celebrate, like, oh, I can't do that. I can't reward myself. I can't do that. But so then it feels like work. But if you
Yeah.
celebrate in small ways, it's like, oh, I want to keep going. I want to keep going. And it really works. It really does. Happiness and gratitude is the way. Depriving yourself and being hard on yourself and beating up on yourself and comparing yourself to other people is never.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete.
Oh man, yeah. And that's actually kind of fair because I am straightforward. I'm direct and candid, and sometimes the truth makes you mad, and sometimes I don't need to give the truth out. So I should shut my mouth more. But I was gonna say about the affirmation thing.
Mhm.
If we take out all of the hippy dippy, fairy dust magic stuff, and after that, just trying to make this accessible for someone who doesn't get that is
Right.
like when I coach someone on speaking
Mhm.
on the radio or trying to put a clear message out, you have to be in your head listening to what you're going to say so that if I'm going to say so and then start my sentence,
Mhm.
slow down. First off, you're going too fast.
Mhm.
Let your brain say so inside internally.
Right.
Just hear that and then hear yourself, because if you hear yourself saying also and then starting, if you don't hear that, if you don't have that daily attribution,
Right.
it's where you can hear yourself saying I am a magnet for money. I am working hard. Hard work is rewarded.
Right.
If you hear yourself say that throughout the day, as you say those negative things, you can go, oh, shoot, dadgummit, and you can edit.
Mhm.
And you can edit your thoughts. You can edit your external position. You remember to stand up, put your shoulders back. That's one of the things Jordan Peterson says, right? He's this horrible guy. He's like, stand up straight, put your shoulders back, and be proud of who you are. That ain't
Absolutely.
bad.
No, that's the way. And because there are some men who read my stuff, but of course I'm, focusing on women. And I start from the perspective of loving yourself. That's like the base of everything. That's the actual second book that I wrote, Beautifully Imperfect, focuses on that because it's so much easier to get to that point of a place where you can embrace these affirmations and, start creating your life and things like that. If you have a solid foundation and a solid, self-worth.
This episode of the Break It Down Show is brought to you by Lions Rock Productions.
That's us.
We publish, evaluate, and develop podcasts just like this one, consult others to build their own, and create associated content and content marketing strategies.
So if you're launching or expanding your social media presence, your business or your personal brand, or if you just want to take your media presence to the next level,
Reach out to us on Twitter
at Pete A. Turner,
or at JohnLG69.
at the Break It Down Show.
There's 1,000 ways to get a hold of us.
Now enjoy the show.
Embrace these affirmations and, start creating your life and things like that. If you have a solid foundation and a solid, self-worth, if you unconditionally love who you are, it is much easier to get to these other places. And the reason why some people may have a difficult time, with affirmations or with, you know, releasing negativity and things like that is because they don't feel that way about themselves. And it starts there. And obviously, if you don't feel that way about yourself, it's very difficult for other people to feel that way about you or to feel anything positive for you as well. So it's hard to get to that place of elevated spirituality that I spoke of before. So yeah, definitely focusing on you, loving who you are, and being really secure in the type of, the dreams that you have, the goals you have, things like that. Very important. And I chose to speak to women because, no offense, guys, but this is a man's world. And as women, there are so many things that we go through, and just in terms of all the cattiness and competition and the who has this better and whose husband looks better and who has kids and who doesn't. Just the things that women choose to fuss and fight about that are just so inconsequential. And all of it just leads to lower self esteem because we just sit around comparing who's skinnier, who's prettier, who's this, who's that, and it's just a never ending cycle. So I just want to get women out of that. I want them to look inward and be the best person that they can be, focus on themselves, and then realize that once they do that, they start to exude this energy that they see in other people that they think they envy. Everybody has the same thing. Some people tap into it, some people don't.
I'm always I always want to make those affirmation based meme type posts that you see that women have the market cornered on, and I want to flip them and do them towards dudes and make them just a extra sprinkle more misogynistic, just as a parody, and be like, behind every man,
Hmm.
is a pretty good woman.
Yeah,
Just
my son and his friends did a little twist on my book like that. So
uh yeah, well, it's funny. I mean, and it's for parody reasons,
no,
I
it's
mean, everybody's
fun. You
got to have
have
their
to.
thing.
And see, again, it doesn't even have to be like all, oh, rainbows and unicorns. Anything that makes you laugh, anything that
Yeah.
makes you happy, anything that elevates your vibration works. You have to pick what works for you. It's not going to be the same for everybody else. Whatever makes you feel good, do it.
Yeah, we want women to be empowered to be their most attuned selves, most giving and prepared to receive selves, and most
Hmm.
fulfilled selves. Because um, let's face it, Pete, you and I got pretty lucky in the ladies
Yeah.
department, and
Oh yeah.
we have women who are behind us. That, good
Hmm.
gracious, they're probably the only reason we succeed. But everybody deserves that, and everybody deserves to be that in somebody's life, because
Yeah.
it's also enriching when you get to give that way and enhance somebody's person, and help them with their mission. So what would you say, Jeanette, is a way that we can help the other people in our lives who maybe haven't seen out of the shadow just yet to where their best self should be? How can we help those folks out of the shadow, when I know that it's an internal struggle, and that we should empower people to do it on their own, because that's the only way you really get it done. But how do we
Hmm.
bring people out, and how do we help people get there? Maybe help them put the training wheels on.
Oh. Well, first you can steer them to my website so that I can talk to them as well. But also, basically, if it's somebody that, first of all, again, I cannot stress enough that the person has to be receptive, because you can want to help somebody all you want. But if they're not in a place to receive it, then they're literally going to run the other way. So let's just say that you have somebody who's kind of looking like they know what their purpose is, but they just don't have the confidence to go after it, or just not the belief. Probably lack the faith. They've had people their whole lives telling them they can't do something. So, they've internalized it. Those people are the ones that, if you're already in that mindset, you just bring it out. Just start talking with them. Just talk to them and ask them questions like, what are you passionate about? What do you dream about? What really makes you feel good? I know that question that they asked, like they asked them in high school, or a guidance counselor or something like, what job would you do if you could do it for free? What would you want to do? That question seems extremely trite, but that is literally the key to figuring out what your life's passion is. Because, like I was telling Pete earlier, I know so many people who work day jobs, but they have this stuff on the side that they do that they love, but they don't even think to turn that into their life. They're just like, oh, that's just a hobby. So they're passionate about that, but they go to work to earn money. And I'm like, oh, something's wrong with that. Why not try to turn that into something? And monetizing something doesn't mean it's cheapening you. It just means that you're following and pursuing what you are most passionate about. So I would definitely, talk to that person and just try to get them to communicate what it is that makes them feel good, what they're most passionate about, what they do well, what people seek them out for, and then just try to encourage them to, they can start it off as maybe a hobby or just something that they do on the side. But the more that they do it, and the more that they're recognized by other people and realize, hey, this is something that's a benefit to others, then it becomes a major part of their life, and hopefully, just the way they're living and affecting other people. That is the story of my life. So
Yeah, and you can definitely check out Jeanette at Jeanette C Espinoza with a Z. .com, Jeanette C Espinoza. If you don't find that, definitely just look in the show notes. It'll be there as well. But you're right. I mean, this is what it takes to do it. And John brought this point up as our kids were graduating from high school. If you ask a high school kid to start naming jobs, hell, a classroom full of high school kids, and you had them all start naming jobs, they would get to about 20 jobs, not even one job a kid, and they would run out of things that they could be. And that means it's your job to explore, to figure out what's possible. There is a broker for space, like a space broker. And it's like, wait, what? There's also people that figure out international law space programs. They aren't even lawyers, but they're so specialized. Who thought about that? And it's such a fascinating field. There's a zillion jobs you can do. My goofy daughter the other day said, if I don't get into this dental hygienist program, and like that's a hard program. They're always hard to get into. If you don't get in, so what? You've been in school for a long time. You've basically finished all of your requirements. Just get a BS degree, Bachelor of Science for everybody, and then do something.
Literally a bullshit degree. Either one.
But she's like, you can't get a job with that, and I'm like, everybody can get a job with it. It's a science degree. You don't need.
People do we know have a job because they have a bullshit degree?
Yeah, tons. How many people have a degree in something? They're like, I don't know. I just took French literature because I liked it, and then now they're whatever, an accountant or whatever. Your job is to explore. I think that's don't make the world so hard on yourself. Don't make other people's business your business. Here's Pete doing Jeanette's job again. If you can't find someone, why can't I find someone? All the good men, all the good women are gone. Be a better you. Make yourself so happy and full of wonderful that you just draw the people into your life that matter. I mean, that's if you don't find somebody, at least you love who you are, and you're going to find somebody. Not just
Also, Pete, this is the second time you brought up a quote about business, and you're 2 for 2 bringing up quotes about business. Maybe you should get out of people's business. No, you should be so lucky as to have Pete in your business because he's going to affirm you. I know that, Jeanette, your class reunion is coming up.
I'm so excited for you guys.
Yeah. You're not going to make it to that class reunion, I hear. Well, I'm sorry you are otherwise encumbered, but in terms of if you want to, shout out a greeting to your class, what would you say to them?
I would say, hi, Denisha, class of 88, woo woo, go Panthers. That I love reconnecting with everybody on Facebook. You guys are awesome. I love peeking into your lives, seeing your children, grandchildren, marriages. Everything is beautiful. And I'm sorry I'm missing you guys, but it's for a wonderful reason because I got a speaking engagement that I was trying to get. And it happens to be on that same day, August 11th. So that's why I won't be there. But Spirit and I'm so looking forward to these pictures because it's been so much fun going on that feed with everybody posting pictures from our yearbooks and stuff is awesome. So I can't wait to see everybody and all the pictures and spouses and things like that. So I know you guys are going to have a blast. Going to have a good time.
Yeah, 88. You are going to have a
good time.
You guys are going to have a good time for sure. And then Jeanette, you're always welcome to come to our class reunion too, because technically you are older than me.
I am.
Is that true? Yeah, Pete could have been in the class of 88, but he got sick a year.
That's right. I got ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then John and I, so we've got you bracketed. So you're in the club with us in 87 if you want to be. We'll have you. Cool.
All right. So maybe I can catch you. Well, I guess you guys already had your milestone. Huh?
Yeah, but we throw good parties, though. Ask John. We had a great time for days.
That's true.
Okay. Well, I'll come for the liquor.
All right. We won't run out of that.
Here's my other question for you because, and this may or may not be edited out of the show, but I just want to ask. I just made the acquaintance 2 weeks ago of a young lady from Atlanta named Marche Sparks. And she owns a restaurant called Le Petit Marché. Are you familiar with that joint?
I am not. but I
Okay.
can go try it.
Yeah, you should go try it.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful lady, and I would say whatever it is that classifies us as one of us, she's one
Mhm.
of us.
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome.
So
What was
you,
her name again?
Marche Sparks, and the restaurant's called Le Petit Marché,
Okay, I'm
the little
putting
market.
it in my phone now so I don't forget because I love
Yeah.
going to restaurants and especially supporting people. So yeah.
Yes, and she definitely deserves. I mean, she's worked hard to make that restaurant wonderful, and she started off with a hot plate on a fold-out table, and now she's got a full-on restaurant that's beautifully appointed and gets a lot of rave reviews. She has a fiance named Ramal Toon, who is a lot like you in that he grew up in Vallejo
Mhm.
and found himself in Atlanta and is an
Mhm.
author who is trying to help the men get their business together.
Ah, I like
And
it.
there I go using the word business. Maybe I should get out of people's business. But he's also in Atlanta, and his book is also terrific. And I think that the two of you probably should know each other. So, yeah,
I
we should make that
appreciate
happen,
it.
and you should go eat at that restaurant.
Yeah, well, I definitely will because I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
So, and I'd like to meet her too. That's
They
awesome.
serve a grit stack.
Oh my gosh.
And
Well,
I'm not even going to tell you what it is because it's a grit stack. And that's all we need to know.
well, I'm looking at it now and this looks absolutely delicious. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so
And a Monte Cristo. And I know how you feel about a Monte Cristo.
Oh.
look at
I love a Monte Cristo. I love any near French toast thing. So if it's a sandwich, if it's something else, yeah, I love it. I love any French toasty things.
So here we are screaming around third base and coming in for home. Last words, Jeanette?
last word. First of all, thank you both for having me. Um, I hope what I said resonated with somebody today to make that change and just try to focus on the good and the positive. But if you need some help or if you'd like some encouragement, please check me out at my website, JeanetteCespinoza.com. And September 29th, I'm releasing my fourth book. It's entitled Rock Your Crown. And this book is a personal one, but it is definitely geared on teaching, it's kind of in vogue with everybody running around saying, I'm a queen, I'm a queen, I'm a queen. Well, this
Yeah.
book, this book actually breaks it down and I use, royal terms and things like that to break down how a woman would actually behave if she were a queen in her own world, not a queen in England, but a queen here, and how you manage your life and the people around you and your finances and things like that as if you were royalty to, change the energy around you to start drawing into you and attracting the things that you want. And then I say it's personal because we recently, and I'll cut this short, my sister is doing our family tree genealogy. And we found that we have, like, since you obviously, not a, I don't think she was a queen. I think she was like a leader of an army. Like, I know you guys saw Black Panther, how they had the all-female army. One of our ancestors was like a commander or something in one of those type of armies. So I was like, this is so freaking awesome. This is where I get my strength from. So I wanted to highlight, historical queens from Africa. So at the beginning of each chapter is going to be a story about a queen. And really with that, I want women to be able to see if these women did this with, way back when, without the technology, everything that you guys have, imagine what you are capable of doing now if you just tap into your power. So hopefully this book will leave women feeling, invincible and just loving themselves and ready to go out there and get it.
I don't want to say one more word. Jeanette, it's been wonderful getting to know you, even though it's just virtual. I can't wait to meet you in person one of these days, either out here when you come and make a homecoming or out in Atlanta. Pete and I are going to swing down through the South at some point in the near future, and we'll certainly make Atlanta one of our destinations to come see you.
Absolutely. I would love to see you guys in person and love to meet you, John. You guys are such a pleasure. I really appreciate it.
And then send me a transcript of your book, and when you're ready, let's have you back on and let's talk about how to be a queen. Because I'm raising a daughter, right? So I got to know.
Oh, I thought you were talking about for you.
Hey, I can learn from Jeanette. That's no problem.
Hey, at some point, you're going to have to be worthy of that tiara you like to support around that.
That is true.
You're
That is
welcome,
true.
everybody, for that visual.
And my bustier and my bustle. I'm trying to bring the bustle back.
Yes.
You can rock it.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm rocking a bustle from the inside. All right, Jeanette, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.